It's time for this week's Parting Shots.
I have a question for boosters at the University of Texas. And what are you in this for? Now, boosters are the biggest force keeping the eyes of Texas, the school song with ties to a minstrel show, alive. A university organized committee released a report saying that the song has no racist intent, but no one should be forced to sing it. Though the president of the school hopes all will sing, many students, including football players and band members, deem it offensive and would like it to be replaced. Boosters not only wanted the song to say, but also demanded players stand for the song and sing along after every game. The ensuing controversy has made the school look as though it cares more about a song than winning, much like Ole Miss looked when it clung to the Confederate flag in spite of its obvious antagonism toward black people and how it affected recruiting. Texas football boosters would rather chase talented players away than be forced to care about the way they feel. So what's the point of giving away all that money? We generally assume boosters want their dollars to turn into wins, but this crew is undercutting that. Why do they want to fund a 7-win football program? Why do they want to fall farther behind Oklahoma? Apparently, because they don't love winning football as much as they hate acknowledging black humanity. They'd rather pay for a loser than treat winners with respect.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, was recently asked when we could expect to see fans at Dodger Stadium. He said opening day. Texas Governor Greg Abbott reopened his state, and now the Texas Rangers have announced they have 0 ticket restrictions when they start their season. Restaurants are opening slowly in New York. They never closed in Florida. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons both missed the NBA All-Star game due to potential coronavirus exposure, and Duke basketball just canceled its season right ahead of March Madness. But yet sports is taking the position that the pandemic is over. They're doing this even though medical experts are saying we're not there yet, we're close, but we're not there. Sports has always taken the position of the healer, but during a pandemic, having 50,000 fans in one place is part of the problem. So here we are, so close to the finish line, but after 500,000 deaths and 10% of the population vaccinated, sports is ready to say, let's get on with it. If this is what the leaders call leading, maybe now's not a good time to follow.
Tremendous strides have been made in understanding and supporting mental health, but more needs to be done, and athletes' mental health is no exception. To stage an NHL season during a pandemic, it hasn't been easy on anyone. Players and their families have been asked to limit all interactions away from home. Road trips mean being at the rink or your own hotel room, and that's it. Border restrictions have kept some players and their families apart. Isolation has heightened anxiety and depression. One player told me that he's experiencing sleeping issues for the first time in his life. Another said that he has more than doubled his CBD consumption on road trips because he's stressed. Sounds like what so many of us have been going through, right? But a lot of players still have trouble talking about these issues. As Columbus Blue Jackets captain Nick Foligno says, he knows many fans believe that pro athletes are paid handsomely to play a sport and therefore should simply feel grateful. That's something he hates. And that's the problem with how society still views mental health, as binary rather than a spectrum. We shouldn't associate getting help with having major problems or hitting rock bottom. We should understand that no matter your class or profession, there's struggles that everyone goes through. I hope the pandemic taught us that we all have more in common than we think. Mental health isn't defined or constrained by income or privilege. If it were, it'd be much easier to address.
Who hasn't dreamt about hitting a buzzer beater in the NBA Finals, or leaping for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, or slamming the game-winning home run in the bottom of the 9th of the 7th game of the World Series? By the way, that's happened only once. Who hasn't dreamt these things? That's what kids do. Apparently not just kids. Here were the New York Mets a few days ago. It was a drill, and the Mets were imagining themselves recording the final out in Game 7 of the World Series. In the real world, the Mets have won only 2 World Series in 1969 and 1986. Some of the credit for their miracle in '69 is usually apportioned to a feline, a black cat who boldly crossed in front of the dugout of the front-running Cubs, clearly jinxing them. So you might think that a franchise with that history would be at pains to avoid provoking the baseball gods with a World Series pantomime. But no, Mets fans are accustomed to disappointment, that's true, but this kind of self-inflicted wound might be too much to bear. If Steve Cohen, their new owner, is really as rich as they say, he might want to invest in a time machine to take the team back to before this happened, to perform a hard reset, to erase this affront, so that the dream of another Mets World Series victory isn't snuffed out even before opening day.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.